What? Hello. Shout out to my minion pajamas. What? You'd be kidding yourselves if you thought I didn't film in my pajamas most of the time, because I'm classy like that. Also, yes, I am painfully aware of how much I remind myself of Wednesday Addams today. So I thought I'd get all cozy today because I would like to talk about anxiety, and what better way to do it than be cozied up. So today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 tips on kind of how to deal with your anxiety, or when you feel a panic coming on, something to kind of try and combat that. Belle, please, if you're going to be in this video, remain still. Good job. So, tip number 1. The first tip that I have for you guys is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. And what this basically is it's a mindfulness tool to kind of help you come back into the moment. So when you start to panic, you kind of lose track of your mind and it gets overwhelmed and there's just too much information and you can't process anything. So this is just supposed to help you center yourself and bring you back to what's happening in the here and the now, instead of what happened in the past, what's happening in the future, what you need to do right now, and all of that stuff. So first things first, you start with number 5. And number 5 is 5 things that you can see. So you start picking out 5 things that you can see. Like, for example, right now I see a lamp, I see some shoes, and you just go on until you've named 5 things you can see. Then you go on to 4. After you've named the 5 things you can see, the 4 is 4 things that you can touch. So right now I can touch my dog, I can touch this blanket, I can touch the pillow, I can touch the couch. And you name 4 things that you can touch and you touch them. You know, you don't just name like, oh, I could touch that pair of scissors over there on my desk. But I can't touch them right now because I'm not at my desk. So you name the things that you can actually physically touch and touch them. Then, of course, after 4 comes 3. And after you've named your 5 things you can touch, or 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, it goes on to 3 things that you can hear. This is the one that helps me the absolute most because I really have to be quiet and tune in. So for example, right now, I can hear some birds, I can hear my fridge, and I can hear Belle's breathing. So you really have to listen and name the things that you can hear. And you can take as much time as you need or as little time as you need, but as long as you're taking enough time to help your brain process that you are hearing those things to kind of help calm it down. And so that's 5-4-3, and then next comes on to 2. And after here, you go to smell. So then you name 2 things that you can smell, which is pretty simple. So that also kind of takes a lot more concentration, especially if you're not in a very scented place, or if you're somewhere that's really familiar to, or you know, just something, but you have to really sit and if you can't smell anything, go pick something up that you can smell, or move to an area where you can smell something. Like, really focus on what's around you and notice what you can smell. Right now I can smell my hair, my shampoo. So, and you would name 2 of those. And the last thing is name something you can taste. Whether that be your own stale mouth, or something you've just recently eating or are eating, or if you want to take a bite of something and then name that thing, just name 1 thing that you can taste. And so that's all the steps. 5 things that you can see, 4 that you can touch, 3 that you can hear, 2 that you can smell, and 1 that you can taste. So it should walk you through all the senses and you have to, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, name, each one of those things. And it kind of just, like I said, focuses you in on the here and the now and what's going on in the present, as opposed to what you need to be doing and, whatever may trigger, like whatever have triggered you. It helps a lot in public. If you're out and you start to kind of panic in public, and if you feel it coming on, just try and hone in on something and focus your mind on what is around you. And that's something that helps you do that. Tip number 2. My second tip to you guys is deep breathing. And the theory behind this mindfulness exercise is that if you're focusing on your breathing, you can't, you can kind of like trick your mind into thinking there's nothing to panic about, because when you start to panic, you get like hyperventilating and you start breathing really fast and you start panicking, And so when you're most calm, normally you're breathing nice and deep and slow. So just taking it and finding the area in your body that is most tense. So for example, for me, I get really tense in my legs first. So what you do is you take that, and I would imagine, and I just close my eyes, and I imagine, and this sounds really weird, but it works, that my legs, you're breathing in through your legs and out and relaxing those muscles first. And you just kind of do that until your whole body can calm down and really relax itself. And so hopefully by that time you've relaxed yourself after this deep breathing, you can think clearly enough to figure out whatever it is you need to figure out. Whether that be to leave a situation because it triggered you, or to do something that you need to do and that triggered you, or just whatever you need to do to deal with it. That is the goal. Tip number 3. My third tip for you is to analyze an object that's around you. It could be any object. And if you start to panic, it's very similar to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, but with only one object, whether you can touch it or not. If you can, so for example, if I were to analyze my dog's paw, I would notice how soft it feels and how rough it feels on other parts, how smooth her nails are, pick out how many colors are on her, how many, nails she has, count her paw pads, just thoroughly analyze whatever object you have around you or can see or is next to you. I could analyze that blanket that I have that you guys can't see that's over on the ground over there, and just really pick it apart. Notice every tiny little detail about it. So much so that it completely distracts your mind from what you were previously about to panic about, like full-fledged panic about, And it's supposed to distract your anxiety completely until you have calmed yourself down enough to where you can start thinking clearly again. Tip number 4. Tip number 4 is very, very similar to tip number 3, with a twist, I guess. This one is focused mainly on colors. This is where you pick an object, preferably something that has a lot of color in it, and you pick out every single color you can see and count those colors. So it's only colors. You're just counting how many colors that there are. For example, and like every shade of that color is a different color. So not just like all blues. If it's a different shade of blue, that's a new color. So like how many ever colors you can see in one object, and just completely nitpick it apart and get as high up as you can with as many colors as you can count, until again you've calmed yourself down enough to where you can think, hopefully, a lot clearer. Tip number 5. My 5th tip is something that helps me out quite a bit, and that is acknowledging that what you're feeling is an emotion and it's okay. So I actually have a list of emotions, an extensive list of emotions, that whenever I don't know what I'm feeling, I can go through and pick out that emotion and acknowledge that that's what I'm feeling, and then I'm feeling that, and it's okay to feel that. So if you get worked up over something and you're panicked or having anxiety about it or scared or depressed or just sad or whatever you're feeling, lonely, even for good emotions like happy, you could technically do this. But whatever you're feeling, acknowledge that that's what you're feeling. And then just let it be for a second within yourself. Just tell yourself, you know, I'm feeling what's an emotion? I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling sad right now, and that's okay. And I feel sad, and that's fine. This'll pass. And then releasing it by way of writing about it, maybe. Or doing one of the other exercises that I mentioned previously by deep breathing or something, just releasing that emotion in some way. And yeah, that's really about it. You just acknowledge that you're feeling it and know that whatever you're feeling is okay to feel. Now, I know that these tips in theory may sound a little weird or even sound easier than they are. I know I use all of these myself, and sometimes I need prompting and pushing and guidance along the way. For example, like the 5-4-3-2-1 method I use constantly. Sometimes I'm in just too much of a state of panic, though, that I need Kyle's help. And he kind of guides me through it sometimes until I can do it myself. And sometimes I have to go through them more than once before I've calmed down. So I'll have to do, like, for example, the 5-4-3-2-1 multiple times before I've calmed down, and just pick out new items every time, or the same ones until I've calmed down. Get that itch, goodness. I don't know if you just saw her like whip up. She had like a little itch or something. Anyway, as I was saying, sometimes you have to do them more than once, and that's okay. And they may sound easier than they are, yes, but they do help. And I just wanted to share them with you, because if any of you have anxiety or deal with panic attacks or just need some sort of calming method sometimes if you're stressed out, I hope that these tips can help you. And yeah, let me know what you think of them down in the comments, and how you cope with your stress or anxiety, or if you have anxiety and what you do to cope with it. Let me know that in the comments below. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I shall see you guys next week with another video. Bye! I don't know what that face was, but bye! No lipstick on the head. Have a blanket.